You know, sometimes being a serial killer isn't as fun as it's supposed to be, I guess. You know, you do the maiming and the cannibalism and the dismemberment and all that. But, sometimes I think to myself, Mr. Pig, wouldn't you want to do something else with your life? Other than being on the run and, committing all kinds of horrible atrocities. Well, yes. Yes, I do actually wish that I could be a different man. You see, sometimes it's not that easy. Ah! Now, you see, sometimes people look at you in certain ways. You know, you look at yourself in the mirror and you don't see yourself. You see Mr. Pig. And that does something to you, you know? And dismembering people, it gets boring after a while, you do the same thing. You got there and you cut their, parts off and put them in jars. It gets annoying. It gets very, very boring, you know? Now, sometimes I wish I could, you know, do the same things everybody else does, but still be me. You know, I don't want to have to change for people necessarily, but I wish that I could branch out a bit more and explore the world. You know what I'm saying? You know, sometimes it just gets really boring. You know? Sometimes you just wish you could, I guess, see more of the world. Experience the things everybody else can. But when you're like me, you can't really do that. You know, and it becomes an issue sometimes because you just want human connections. That's what I want, at least. But it gets difficult when you're like me. I'm really sad. Everybody sees me as a weirdo. I don't know why. What, just because I dismember people that makes me a weird guy? That's ridiculous. Like, seriously. You think, like, this guy, he thought I was a weirdo. What a jerk. But I think I can finally make a difference. I'll go see if I can get a decent job. Right after I'm done eating this guy's arm. Damn, this is good. Um, so welcome to, job corporations. It says here your name is Mr. Pig? Is that correct? Uh, yes, sir. That is correct. It says there on my resume. Right. Now it says here you're responsible for over 50 disappearances and 60 different murders.
And it says there's also 1 count of arson? Okay. Mr. Pig. Do you have any qualifications? Have you had any previous job experiences by any chance?
Uh, yes, sir, I actually have. I remember I used to work as a butcher for a little bit, but, people started finding out that the meat I was selling was not animal meat, but human meat. So I got fired, obviously, and I had to, had to switch to a different town and couldn't stop doing it there, and, you know, stuff like that. Yeah. Other than that, not really. Nah, not really.
Yeah. Okay. So, you know, I would usually call the police on you and possibly have you executed, but here at Job Corporations, we're a very shady business. We have resulted in countless fatalities before, so we don't even care, honestly. Um, Now, do you maybe have a product of some sort you could create for us to sell to people?
Um, well, kind of. I wouldn't really call it a product necessarily, but you could have some practical use for it. I have a jar of teeth. You can imagine where I got it.
I made it myself.
See, what you can do with this jar of teeth is you can sell it to dentists. That way, people who have missing teeth, you can just replace them with actual other teeth instead of getting fake teeth that fall out over time. And not to mention, they make for a great snack. Man, this is my favorite snack right here, actually. Skip arms. Teeth are where it's at. Damn! That's massive! Yep. I love eating teeth. Yummy, yummy in my tummy. Yep. That's some good stuff right there. Yeah, so what you should do is you should hire me to give you a jar of teeth. Or possibly more. I can make more, actually. What you can do is you can hire me to sell teeth. And I can make the teeth for you. Yeah.
You do make a fair point there. Minus the eating the teeth thing. That that shouldn't even be possible, but you know what? I'm sold. You got the job, man. Yeah, you got the job.
Oh, wow. Really? I'm so honored. Uh, by the way, that's not my hand you're shaking.
What do you mean it's not your hand?